Hey there and welcome back to another video. This is part 2 in my series about taking the fear out of transcribing. Last week I showed you how to start transcribing by only writing down the rhythms. That video is linked in the description down below, so if you haven't checked it out yet, please go down there and watch that. Your homework for that video was to transcribe the rhythms to one or both of my solos that I played. So, how did that go for you? In a little bit, I'll be showing you those rhythms that I played so you can check your work. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to take those rhythms and actually use that to start creating your own solos based off them. Don't be alarmed. You don't have to know a ton of theory, scales, chords, and all that other crazy stuff to do this. That's where a lot of you get scared. You think you have to know all these advanced, technically complex things, and I'm here to tell you, you actually don't. Trust me on this one. Before I dive into it, I have another worksheet that goes along with this lesson video, and like always, it's 100% free. All you need to do to get it is click the link at the top of the description down below or in the pinned comment, or you can just go directly to davepollack.com/rhythmtranscription2, and that's the number 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have you check your work. I'm going to put the solos that I played last week up, and I'm going to put the rhythms on the screen as well so you can hear the solo and see exactly what rhythms I was playing. And don't worry, the rhythms that I'm showing on the screen are in this lesson's worksheet. So don't worry if it goes by too fast. You don't have to rewind it. Just download that worksheet and you'll have all those rhythms written out for you, and then you can check it as slow or as fast as you want. Here we go with the 2 solos from last week. All right, so once you transcribe the rhythms to a solo or part of a solo, it's now time to start adding notes to them. That's right, you're gonna keep those exact same rhythms, but you're gonna be adding your own notes. You can improvise this or write it out, and I highly suggest writing it out, especially if you're on the more beginner side or you're unsure about things. And in this week's lesson worksheet, I have my original rhythms from last week, but I also give you space so you can write out your own solos, and I have the chord changes above for each different key. Here are some parameters for the notes so you don't get some paralysis by analysis. For level 1, I only want you to use the notes of the concert B-flat blues scale. Once you download your worksheet and you see your key, whether it's concert pitch treble, concert pitch bass clef, E-flat or B-flat, I wrote out whatever the concert B-flat blues scale is for your key, so you have it right there on the worksheet. I know this might be slightly constricting because you might want to play some chord tones, play some other stuff, but I highly recommend starting with just the blues scale. You can do so much with this one sound, and because you only have that one tonality, those 6 notes to play, you're going to get more creative with maybe the intervals, maybe with repeated notes, where you place those notes. I want to see your creativity when you make this solo. For level 2, you can use any notes you want. You could use chord tones, passing tones, chromatic stuff, substitutions, altered notes, whatever you want, as long as it fits the rhythms that are on the sheet. Just so you know, I have a ton of lesson videos for free right here on YouTube about improvisation. If you go into the description down below, it's called Improvisation Playlist. And in that, I talk about chord tones and scales and substitutions. And there's different videos on all different topics related to improvisation. So if you do want some more resources about that, that's where I want you to go. The idea here is that by taking the rhythms that I'm giving you, and that's the parameter, you're not using your own rhythms yet, you're only focusing on one thing, and that's creating these notes to go with the rhythms. You only have so much bandwidth in your brain while you're playing to think about these different things. It's really tough to think about all these other musical elements and notes and rhythms and phrases. It's too much for a lot of people in the beginning, and that's why so many of you have told me that it's scary or it's just too hard for you and you just want to give up. Please don't give up. There is a way for you to do it. I promise you. Even if you only want to play one note the entire time, using these rhythms is going to really help you on your path. Before I play 2 new solos based on these rhythms, I want to address a question that I think a lot of you might have. That question is, why are there no articulations or dynamics or anything like that written? Why is it only the rhythms? Well, the main reason is I just wanted you to only focus on transcribing rhythms at first. Just like I said a second ago, if you're focusing on transcribing the rhythms and the articulations and the dynamics and the scoops and this and that and that, that's just too many things to think about. And once again, that's where you get overwhelmed, you get confused, and you just like, forget it, I don't even want to do this, it's too hard. I wanted you to just start with those rhythms first. Now that you're past that, when you write or improvise these new solos based on the rhythms that you transcribed from my solos from last week, I want you to add your own articulations, your own dynamics, your own inflections to the music. This is now where we're starting to combine what I gave you, those rhythms, with your own things, your own non-note musical elements, your own improvisational flair, if you will. I always talk about having reference recordings in mind when you play any song or any style, and the same thing applies here when we're playing a medium swing. You could be thinking about a blues, you could just be thinking about a song in this tempo and this swing style. Whatever you like to listen to and what you want to sound like, listen to a lot of that and it will come out in your playing or your composing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to improvise 2 solos. Over level 1, I'm going to take those exact rhythms that I used from last week, and I'm only going to use the concert B-flat blues scale just like I told you to do. In level 2, I'm going to take those exact same rhythms from last week again, but I'm going to create my own solo based on kind of whatever I'm feeling in the moment, based on the parameters of the song, the chord changes, and all the other things that I've practiced. Here we go. I hope you enjoyed this lesson video and it takes more of the fear away from transcribing. Remember, your homework for this week is to write out or improvise a solo or 2 based on the rhythms from last week's lesson. Be sure to grab the worksheet for this week's lesson by going to the top of the description below or in the pinned comment, or you can just go directly to davepollack.com/rhythmtranscription2. Remember, it's the number 2. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.